This is the extremist Republicans trying to figure out how they can use the business of the American people, doing the work we're supposed to do, as leverage to try to improve their political position. These extremists are here to do nothing more than get Donald Trump reelected.
Welcome back to America Decides. That was Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren reacting to Speaker McCarthy's decision to call for an impeachment inquiry into President Biden as the House returned today from their summer recess. Lawmakers have until the end of the month to pass spending bills that would keep the government funded. Ashley Etienne and Kevin Sheridan join us now. Ashley is a CBS News political contributor and the former communications director for Vice President Kamala Harris and former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. And Kevin is a founding partner at Protean Public Affairs. He previously served as a spokesperson for the RNC and as a senior advisor to the Romney-Ryan 2012 presidential campaign. Welcome to both of you. You know, I just want to start off because we just got some additional reaction from Capitol Hill from some congressional Democrats. Let's take a listen to that sound and we'll get your reaction on the other side.
We were sent to Washington, D.C. to improve the quality of life of everyday Americans. The extreme MAGA Republicans are determined to illegitimately investigate the president as part of an ideological crusade that week after week after week continues to do nothing more than try and jam their extreme right-wing ideology down the throats of the American people.
We also heard from Leader Chuck Schumer earlier today, who basically said that, you know, the speaker needs to kind of rein in his members who have gone off the deep end in his view. But Ashley, I just want to start by getting your reaction to congressional Democrats and how you think this impeachment inquiry will play for them on the other side.
Well, you know, I ran the first war room, impeachment war room for Speaker Pelosi, and the difference then and the difference now is that there was actually evidence there. There is no evidence here. So for me, I think the American people will see this for what it actually is. It's the Republican House trying to settle a score for Donald Trump, but it's an attempt for McCarthy to keep his job. So, but here's the thing, you can't, you know, impeachment should be so serious that it should be a very last resort. I watched Speaker Pelosi take the pressure and withstand pressure from her own caucus for over a year to not move forward on impeachment without any evidence. She refused to move forward until the president actually gave us the evidence. He gave us the tape with his phone call to Zelensky asking for dirt on Donald Trump. We saw video of him standing on the ellipse telling an angry mob of insurrectionists to go down to the Capitol and fight like hell. So there was evidence there. There is no evidence here. And I think that the Republican Party should back off of it and realize that this is a loser every time.
I mean, Kevin, I see you smiling there. Obviously, we know House Republicans have been investigating for a number of months now. Is there a there?
Well, there may not be bank record evidence yet, but that's because the IRS was not allowed to investigate that. And so this will now give them subpoena power to potentially look at the 12 or so banks that, and that flagged suspicious transactions. And what was the $20 million flowing through, Joe Biden's grandkids' LLCs? There is a lot of circumstantial evidence. We'll see if they can, find the fire, but there is smoke.
But here's the thing. Republicans always jump the shark. They always put their desire ahead of the facts, their desire, their politics of retribution before the facts. And they're doing it here again. The reality is you could get those bank records without initiating an inquiry at all. You don't have to have an inquiry to get that.
The IRS whistleblowers said they were blocked and they were not able to get them.
By the Trump administration. So here's the thing.
By the DOJ, by career people at the DOJ, to be clear.
Who were appointed by Donald Trump. But here's the thing. To your point, Nicole, the Republicans had 5 years to investigate. They've been investigating Hunter Biden for 5 years, 2 DOJs, 5 years. And all they came up with was a gun charge and tax evasion and no connection to the president. So how much more of the American taxpayer dollars are we going to continue to throw behind these false allegations with the hopes that, the Republicans can find something that they can hold against
I mean, to
Joe
both
Biden.
of you, what do you make of Speaker Kevin McCarthy not holding a vote or seeming to not intend to hold a vote on the House floor with respect to this impeachment inquiry?
Well, he's getting pressure from the Freedom Caucus. They were set to meet today, and clearly they want to move forward. They think there's enough there. Why he didn't hold a vote, I think,
because he doesn't have the votes. I'll answer the question for you, Kevin. Because he doesn't have the votes. I mean, the reality
but
is,
regardless of whether he does or not,
Sure.
should he be holding that vote?
Oh, absolutely.
Period. I mean,
Absolutely.
is this changing the rules?
Well, there's going to be a lot of
did.
hypocrisy on both sides right now. Of everybody who loved impeachments for 4 years is now against impeachments, and everybody who wanted full votes on the floor last time, are going to be hypocritical this time. But look, we'll see what they turn up. They have turned up a lot so far. We'll see what else comes out.
Can I just quote Republicans on the House side? They're asking the same question: where is the evidence? When your caucus is asking where is the evidence, maybe you should move forward, and that's exactly why he didn't have a vote.
Obviously, this is all coming at a very busy time for Capitol Hill. As we mentioned, there's also this issue of trying to fund the government. How could this impeachment inquiry potentially complicate those efforts, which, we know Congress only has about 11 legislative days left this month?
Yeah, and they're going to have to say, if you want to continue this impeachment, you got to keep the government open. I think that's what some of the leadership is going to play that game a little bit. We'll see if that flies with the Freedom Caucus. But yeah, it's another tough spending
It's
situation.
a sad state of affairs when you have the speaker who's negotiating with his caucus and saying, I'll give you impeachment if you give me the opportunity to keep the government open. I mean, that's a sad state of affairs for our political leadership and the atmosphere on the Hill. It's sad, and regrettably, the American people always suffers the consequence of it all.
Well, it is a conversation that is to be continued, and we thank you both, Ashley and Kevin, for joining us.